All right, everybody, we got it wrapped up. You can see there. Welcome, everybody. Today we're back in the toy box. I'm gonna do a turn signal kit and horn, street legal kit, basically. The Ryco system has like a blinker knob like we're all used to, and then the horn's on the end of it, and it's got an emergency flasher. So this is a 2017 900, a friend of ours. I'm sure you'll see him riding this summer with us. But here in Idaho, we can ride these on the road as long as you have rear view mirror, horn, and turn signals. So works also for Utah. There's Arizona, quite a few states. So let's get started. I've gone through and done all the basic checks, and this one does have the indicators built into the dash, and I of course had that ready to pop out before I started. But first one is you install just the signal here. I like this system just because it's what we are used to by habit. So it has the emergency flasher. You just pull the red, cancels as soon as you hit it, and then the horn's right there on the end of it. So pretty good system. Got that all installed, and then of course I went back and looked at the pictures, and it doesn't say in the pictures that you got to route that between the tilt mechanism and the column. So, but it tells you that if you read the fine print. So, but typically we don't do that. You can see on that harness they've got it all marked. Like that's front turn, rear turn, power, ground, and horn, brake harness, power, ground, and oh, yes, we got that one already. Rear turn, power, and dash indicator harness. That one will do the flashers. That's the flasher relay there. That's the self-counseling. Just match them up. Snap them together. And this is the horn fuse relay. Says go ahead and secure all that with zip ties. Start threading it up to the center part of your dash up here. Now it's wanting us to mount the horn, saying behind the radiator, so Let's clear back in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that tray, give me better access into there and find a good mounting spot. Hopefully it will survive the dirt. On most Polarises, there's a grommet right dead center here in the firewall, or close to center. You can run most of your accessories through pretty easily. We'll adjust that up when we tie all this harness together, when we get all the wires ran. Okay, now we're going to install the brake strobe interface. What it does, just makes your brake lights strobe when you first touch them. Kind of gives everybody a warning, just a little easier for everybody to see you. Thread that through the firewall also. That's going to go down to the master cylinder, which is located right in front of the driver's feet. On the brake harness, it's telling me to do what I hate to do, and that's use those clip-in splice connectors. So I'm just going to unplug the brake connector and pull it out here, and then I'll do a solder butt joint connector instead. I've had a lot of failures with using those other style over the years, so I just don't do it. Those are pretty cool. You can see when it melts in there. Hopefully you can focus in on that. Then it's a true soldered and sealed connection all in one, so just an easy way to do it. And they're pretty cheap. Okay, now we're going to unhook this plug off the back of the gauges. Here's the wiring harness. It'll interrupt, or actually just goes from the harness into this plug on the back of the gauge. Take number 6 and 7 out. Number 6 is the red wire. Number 7 is the green wire. You should feel those pop in when you push them clear down in there. Good idea to keep those from getting pulled out ever. I use these little miniature zip ties on a lot of this wiring stuff. They just give it a clean look. Alright, now we're ready to hook up or put in the front blinker lights. And according to the instructions, it says stay in about 5/8 of an inch. I think I'll come in 1 1/4 inches, which will leave about 5/8 out here. And then 1 1/4 to 1.5 inch spacing. Go ahead and mark both sides while I'm at it. Alright, now we're ready to install the front marker lights. I like to use the step drill when I'm drilling this plastic stuff, but I do a pilot hole with just like a 1/4 inch bit. Just easier to control, and then it gets you started straight. So. Alright, now that we got those installed, let's go through and wire tie them, or tie it up to everything. Keep it clean, and where the mud and snow and whatever else you might get might tear them out. Okay, now we'll run the rear harness before we button all that up. It recommends, or says, you just pull the pins. You don't have to take that center console clear out, and you can just tuck those wires in there. I'd highly recommend not doing that, just to make sure that you take the time and tie them into along that other harnesses there, just to make sure they don't get down in your drive line. So once you pull the pins, it's just a matter of lifting it out of there anyway, so I don't understand why they would say that, but I guess some people will do anything to save a minute. We'll get going on that. Alright everybody, got all that in. Battery died, so I didn't catch all of this. Here's where I ran the wire, and it goes up, you know, I've got it tied there, and then it's tied just before it goes into the firewall in the tunnel. It comes over here. I just tied it into the existing, and the two plugs you just switch. The new pigtail comes with two cords, or two plugs on it. One fits the light, one fits the old plug to the light. And then there's an extension that runs across over to the passenger side. Same thing, but it's got two bullet connectors coming off of it, and that's for your license plate light. And just drilled it, mounted it there, so that makes them pretty simple. Like you can see, I took the bolts out, just drop that free, support it with bungee cords or whatever you got. You can hang it on zip ties if you want. Just makes it easy to get your hands in there behind it. Just quick, easy access. No sense fighting it. You want to make sure you tie those wires to that old harness good, just because they are right above the exhaust. You don't want them to get drooping down with mud or whatever and have a problem that way. So take your time, get it right now, and you won't have to ever touch it again later. So, and I've still got to put the tunnel back together, so I'll get all that done, and I'll show you how I'm going to button up the inside here, and we'll see if it works. Okay, we got all the back end all buttoned up, put back the way it was, and everything tucked in nice and clean. Got everything plugged in here. Tied that flasher to that existing harness. These are all in a nice tight bundle and bundled here. So I'll get that put back together. And oh, and here's your, what they refer to as the buzz bar on the 17 and newer, I believe. This one's your switched or accessory. This is the ground, and this is the constant hot. Keep in mind when you're hooking up accessories, if you're using that buzz bar, that's only a 10 amp fuse that runs that circuit. So it's really easy to screw it up and overload it, especially if you're running light bars. A lot of people do nowadays, so don't tie them in there. They really need to be on their own relay. They just use way too much power, so run a direct power source from your battery up to a relay, and then you can tie in there, because you only use like 0.3 amps or something like that to run a relay. On mine, I went through and put a fuse block in, and I still need to set our 800 up, so when I do that, I'll film it so you guys can see it and show you the different relays I've got and the fuse block, and then you don't have to worry about what you need to hook up. You've got plenty of power there. So all right, everybody, we got it wrapped up. You can see there they are flashing. Cool thing about this system is you have marker lights that are on all the time that the key's on. You do have the option of disconnecting that, but yeah, that's without them flashing. You just have markers as long as your key's on, which is just makes you a little more visible. So, but there is an option you can change that. There's also a strobe on the brake light that you can disconnect if you want to. It strobes like 3 flashes and then goes on solid, or you have the option of not having that. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.